Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Magnetic Mystic podcast. I am your host, Molly Ruby-Coco, and today I am so excited. I am here today to talk about my recent trip to Crete in Greece, and I'm not even going to wait to just completely dive right into this episode. I'm so excited to share this because this trip was absolutely incredible. So, for context, I have some family that live in Greece and they've been asking me to come and visit for about 6 years. And I've only just managed to get myself over there. And it was absolutely a last minute decision to go out there. Um, my mum was flying out as well, so it was absolutely beautiful to be able to go and spend a few days with my family in Greece. And the first of all, I want to speak about the flight out there, which I will touch on very, very briefly. And I do want to do a separate episode about this because the way I handled this flight to Greece absolutely has been so different how I handled flights in the past. And just to kind of give a very, very brief overview, this was a real test for me to demonstrate just how much we are in co creation with this universe. And let me tell you, this shit works. The frequencies that you bring to these experiences, how you relate to the experiences, absolutely will change the experience for you. So the TLDR is that this flight was like the best flight I've ever had and the most chill. But I do want to do a separate episode about that. So I will go into that in a little bit more detail on a separate episode. But getting to Greece was just so relaxed. I had Wi-Fi on this flight as well, which I've never experienced before. That was fucking cool. Having Wi-Fi on a flight is an absolute game changer and something I've never had before. So that was really fun. And we literally, like, I landed in Greece and my aunt came and picked me up from the airport, which was so special. She came and met me in the airport, and I was immediately just felt so welcomed and so calm. Like, I was taking everything in while I was there, and the scenery, the mountains, the trees, the hills, the sea, everything was just. And even though there was loads of cars around, there was lots of people, energetically things just felt more relaxed. And as we do, we were catching up and speaking the whole way back to her house, and I was just absolutely taking everything in. I just couldn't quite believe there was just so much to look at. And the oleander plants that are lined across the island are just absolutely stunning. And didn't realize until now that they are fireproof, which is really, really, like, again, something so beautiful because Crete, unfortunately, is prone to wildfires. But the oleander is fireproof. And I was just like, this is the gift that nature gives us, is this, like, plant that is not only beautiful to look at, and it's toxic as well. So, like, it's toxic to humans and animals. So, like, nobody's going to go playing with it, touching it, which is amazing because then it's like it just gets left and then it will completely, like, repel the fire, which I would love to do some more research into this plant. But I just thought that was so, so cool to learn that. I also learned that there are between 45 and 55 olive trees per person on the island, which is wild. They are everywhere and they're so, so beautiful. I was very, very fortunate to go and actually be in the in the vicinity of a 3,000-year-old olive tree, which I had no idea they lived that long. There's one on the island that is 5,000 years old, which I was like, take me to this tree, I have to see it. And luckily, we got to go and see the 3,000-year-old tree, and they are magnificent. They're so big, and what when they get older, they start hollowing out in the middle and literally start like splitting off. But what was absolutely wild was this particular tree had a gap through it. And again, what's so magical about this, like being in Crete, is I could go right up to the tree. I could touch it. I could be near it. I could walk through the gap because it's just there for everyone to enjoy. And so I was so fortunate that I was able to literally go up to this tree and just be in its energy. And I was like, I have been here for a blip. This tree has been here for a hot minute, like for millennia, and like it's almost inconceivable like how much this tree has seen. And like, I was saying to my family, I was like, can you imagine when this tree was a seedling and now it's this, and it still produces olives after 3,000 years. It's still producing olives, which is just such an amazing thing to think about. And I was just in awe. Like, it's just being a tree, and it's doing what it knows how to do, which is produce fruit, and for a really, really long time. And I just thought, I've just never been in the presence of a tree that old before. So that was really, really fucking cool. I was just absolutely in awe of this tree. And I mean, speaking of like olives and olive oil, and just even the food, like when my when I told my aunt I was coming, she said to me, she was like, oh, you might struggle to eat while you're here because I'm vegan. And she was like, there might not be a lot of options. I was fed incredibly well. There are vegan options everywhere. And again, I just think it speaks high volumes to what we're perceiving and what actually we are looking for. Because like my aunt wouldn't look for vegan food while she's there because it's not her preference. Whereas I was locked in and I was like, there is vegan food everywhere here, like everywhere. And I was like, I'll be fine. I know I'll eat fine while I'm here. Like, I know that I'll be fed. And lo and behold, like everywhere catered to me. And the food was delicious. Like, so, so good. I had this ice cream, right, while I was there. And it was peanut butter and jelly. But it was peanut butter ice cream with sour cherries. Oh my gosh. It's the best ice cream I've ever had. And one of my favorite things to do whenever I go anywhere is to get some sort of vegan ice cream or sorbet or whatever. And this, hands down, the best ice cream I've ever had. So I was thoroughly impressed, and I would fly back to Crete just to go and have that ice cream again. And I'm gonna. The second I'm able to go back, I'm gonna go get myself one of those ice creams. But I really want to speak mostly like about just the energy that I felt while I was there. So there is this thing that people say, which is cigar, cigar, which means take your time, slow down. And when you're in Greece, and when I was in Crete, you're absolutely encouraged to slow down. Like, to take your time with things, to enjoy your food, to experience what is around you. The food is harvested seasonally and organically, and it's delicious. The days are paced at such a different pace than where I live in the UK, where the energy here feels like it's such a rush. And I really want to speak to the synchronicities of me being in Greece specifically last week, and the ask of me and my mission and my soul and how I get to show up in this world. Something that I have been challenged with in the past is my energy, and specifically how much I do things at such a pace. And sometimes that pace is really, really good. You know, I'm inspired by something and I'll move really, really quickly on an idea and I'll run with it. Or there's another lens of this where it feels like it's a rush and it feels like there is, you know, a rush to do things because of scarcity or fear, which is really, really interesting. And it's the discernment of, am I moving from scarcity and lack, or am I moving from inspiration and wanting to propel forward? And while I was there, I was just overcome with this energy of just, of course, everything's fine. Of course, we can take our time with this. Of course, we can slow down. Slowing down to take a minute to just take everything in and just be like, this is the world we live in. This is beautiful. Like the sunsets, the trees, the mountains, the people. Oh my gosh, the people. So, so wonderful. And I just started thinking, I was like, I've been running on this fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response, one of the stress responses, or multiples of them. And as I train more as a subconscious freedom coach, and the more I support people, the more I see that this is something that so many people are running like on this energy of we have to go, 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 and everything has to be done at 4,000 miles an hour. And actually, what frequency are you tapping into? What frequencies are we living from when we're running in this energy of we have to get this done, you know, have, should, need. It's such a, feels like such a dense frequency to be in, where it's like, I just know everything's going to be fine. I can't wait to go and explore. I'm so excited to go and play. I love that I'm doing it at this pace. I'm loving exploring. And lo and behold, you know, the energy I was really tapping into was rippling out of me so fast. One of my dear sweet friend Mads, I was voice noting her while I was away, and she was like, "You sound different." And I was like, "I feel different. I really feel different." And it brings me back to my point that I was meant to be in Greece this week, feeling into this frequency of calm, of taking my time, of not needing to rush, and knowing that everything is working out for me. Because as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, there are bumps. There are going to be bumps just like there are on the aeroplane. And it's riding the wave or riding the bump and saying, do you know what? No thanks. I'm okay. I don't need to experience these bumps so intensely. And truly, on the aircraft, they really weren't that bumpy. And it's the same. It's the same with running business. There are going to be bumps. There are going to be moments where it lulls. There are going to be moments where you're asked to slow down. There are going to be moments where you're overcome with inspiration and you just want to run and run with it. It's beautiful. But it's the frequency and the energy that you are emitting and presenting in your business that is the undercurrent of how you're showing up. And the ask of how is it that you plan on running your business? I made a vow to myself, having run a couple of businesses in the past, that this time it would be different. That this time I would do it from a place of ease, from flow, from inspiration, from calm. And I can tell you, hand on heart, that it's been tricky because there are old parts of me that have whispered in my ear and said, "You're not going quick enough. You should hurry up. Why aren't you doing this?" And it's honoring those parts of me and comforting those parts of me and giving myself so much compassion, because it was what I had learned in the past. It was what I thought was the only way to do business, is to do things at 4,000 miles an hour and panic when things aren't moving quick enough. Whereas actually now, I think, no, that's not how I'm going to do it. I am absolutely fine with things taking their time. I am absolutely fine with waiting. I'm so excited to show up as my authentic self more and more as I feel into who I am and really, really step into all of me. Because that is a journey in itself. When you really start looking into yourself and you start doing this work, the subconscious freedom work, and really understanding the energetics of the universe and how you are absolutely integral to the energetics of this universe and how the universe is responding to your energy. It's like being born again. When you become so conscious of this and you're awake to it, you really do get to go and play. And just like anything, when something is brand new, things take time. They take time to bed in. The work that I'm doing, it takes time. It takes time to do it for myself. It takes time for my clients. And we honor that. We really do. Some things shift quickly. Some things take a couple of weeks. Sometimes things take a bit longer. But the point is that it's all happening at the most perfect time and for the perfect reason. And I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent there about all of that, but it felt really, really important for me to share that in that moment. But the reason why Greece felt so alive for me this week was that I had the honor of being part of a daily meditation that my mentor and her partner had organized this week in their own container, and something that they were bringing to the world this week of living from joy, living from our highest expressions of joy, and feeling into the frequencies of joy and slowing down and magic, and really tapping us in to a brainwave state that I have never been able to access so quickly from a meditation. It is absolutely incredible and highly would recommend any of Sarah Zula or Tim Tactic's meditations, but this one from Activate was particularly epic. And I knew that it was absolutely perfect that I had access to this meditation while I was in this energy. So it was amplifying the energy of being in Greece and the ask to embody that energy so that I can bring that back home and ripple that energy out from my own personal life and, the closest people around me, but also in my business. It's every aspect of me. My business is not separate to me, just like my personal life. It's everything is all intertwined because it's all an expression of myself. And this is absolutely how it feels so aligned to live like this, is to have a business that is fully an expression of myself. And it's what I encourage my clients to do in their businesses if I'm supporting them in business. And this is why I just think it was so important that I was in Greece this particular week, embodying this frequency, this energy, and doing it at a level of like expedition. Like it was like, we're going to do it and we're going to fucking lock in and just full body download. And I just, again, just with the synchronicities of this universe and how things present themselves, I was like, of course, this is happening for me this week. This is beautiful. And I'm so, so hyped. And now that I'm back home in the UK, it was really interesting flying home because I really felt so much emotion as I was leaving that I allowed myself to feel. And it was full, big tears and real release of energy before I left that I was so grateful I got to experience. And I remember saying to my family, I was like, I'm crying because I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I got to have this experience. I'm so grateful that this is what I got to experience and that I can come back and experience this more. You know, my aunt was saying, she was like, we've barely scratched the surface of all the places that we went to. We went to so many beautiful little towns while I was there and got to see some absolutely marvelous architecture and some of the clothing there and jewelry. I'm a big, big jewelry fan and fashion, to be fair. I love fashion, I love jewelry, and I love architecture. So I was like, I'm at fucking Disneyland. This is this is fucking awesome. And seeing so many people in their own self-expression as well, you know, with their businesses, or there were people like playing music on the street, and just seeing that. We had the absolute privilege of, when we went to Hanya on, I think, a second to last night, there was a festival going on where there was dancers and musicians from different parts of the world singing local songs and performing traditional songs and dances. And I was like, we've been I was like, this is wild. Like, we're in Greece. I'm watching Colombian dancers singing and dancing. And we had Japanese food for dinner, and I was like, this is wild. I've been to like 3 different countries in one evening. But it was just so beautiful to see so many people in their magic and enjoying themselves and having such a wonderful time. I will say as well, there were so many cats, and oh my gosh, I was in my element. I was like, come to me, my children. So there's always a bonus as well. Was seeing all the beautiful cats, and that made me very, very happy as well. But anyway, I digress. Coming back home was really, really interesting. The second I touched the wheels down, it sounds like I was flying the plane. I was not flying the plane. The second the wheels touched the runway in the UK, I was like, oh, because I was so excited because it meant I get to come home and see my husband and my cats, and I was so excited. But there was also a part of me that was like, oh, like we disembarked the aircraft, and we were walking back to the baggage reclaim, and I was in no hurry. I'd only had carry on, so I was just walking along, just chilling. And I noticed that people were just like speeding past me. Everyone was rushing, and I was like, I mean, obviously, the people might need to get the train or a bus or whatever. So I completely understand. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. We're like, this is the energy here. Like, you know, and I must admit, I did like walk a little bit faster because I did want to get to the car and see Ben. Like, I didn't want to wait. But I was like, whoa, everything's done at like 400 miles an hour. Or at least that is my perception of this reality of living here. And I was like, okay, cool. I need to change my perception. What? Not even that I need to, I get to now. I get to change my perception of how I see things here and how I get to really ripple that out everywhere. Because I've done it in the past and it's just like anxiety inducing. So I did think that that was really, really interesting. And now that I've been home for, oh my gosh, like 4 days already, wow, I am definitely more settled now. I definitely feel like the waves have been riding a little bit these last couple of days, between bringing in this new, like really, really bringing in this energy and actually, old habits and patterns that I've had before I went away. So that has been really, really interesting. And this is what I love about this universe. This is what I love about being in co creation with the universe and working with the energetics in the universe. This is what I talk about with my clients, and this is what I support people with in my 3-month container that I have. And it's just such a fun discussion and so rewarding to work with people when we get to see what people's potentials are from their own perceptions and uplifting it and changing it and them seeing what they are able to create and do when they're just ever so slightly changing their frequency. And sometimes it takes a trip somewhere to gain some perspective. And as again, my wonderful friend Mads says, bringing back the aloha, which I just love. Bringing back the energy that you experienced in the beautiful place that you went to. And sharing it because that is how it ripples out. And I'm so excited to share this more with my clients, to speak more with this on the podcast, on my Instagram. And if you aren't already, please feel free to give me a follow on Instagram. I'll link it in the show notes below. And if you're interested in coaching, please, please, please drop me a DM on Instagram. I would love to support you in your journey. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here today. I absolutely adore you. And I'll see you on the next one, my loves. Bye. I love you.